So diving deep on your soul's story journey, what writers also know as the hero's journey, or those working with myths and archetypes. And the hero's journey was developed by Christopher Vogler, and I think it's a wonderful template to see how our souls have evolved in 12 steps, but also to relate it to the 12 main chakras that we're working with. And so I start with step 1 on your soul's journey. In the hero's journey, this is called the ordinary world, but I call this soul loss. So I want to take you up beyond the world that you start in, going up into the cosmos or the stars, your seed consciousness, when your soul self made a choice to come down here and start anew. Maybe it made some contracts or decisions to come in a certain family. Maybe it had a life mission. Maybe you had a reason to be here on this earth at this time. And your soul self said, yes, I'm jumping in, I'm going down, I'm going to go into that body, that family, that world at that time. Maybe you queued up excitedly waiting for this heroic journey to start, having no idea the full wealth, the chaos and the love that you'd be entering into this 3D earth of restriction and limits and pain, but love and sensation and touch and relationship and nourishment. The senses are stimulated in this paradigm. And so maybe take your consciousness up before it all started, into your soul's awareness, that flickering flame of light that made a brave decision that started the hero's journey here, the start of the soul's origin into this lifetime, and poof, jumped in, was seeded, brought into being to start your own soul's journey. And in this world, at some point, you forgot you had a soul. You were going on in your life without your plan, wandering loose in this world. Maybe you didn't have spiritual mentors or soul-based guides. Maybe you were born into a family that didn't understand you had a soul, that didn't recognize their own. So your ordinary world is a world of soul loss and soul misunderstanding. And this is where you start your journey of not recognizing who you truly are and being lost in a 3D matrix that doesn't understand the soul and the spirit. And so think back to a time when maybe you're wandering lost in this paradigm, wondering what it's all about. And maybe there's a part of your soul self that regrets that decision to dive in. Maybe there's a part of you that feels unsafe, ungrounded, wandering lost in this world. And feel into that root chakra of yours, at the bottom of your spine, at the base of your body, your physical awareness. Maybe this has been put out of balance as you're trying to incarnate into this body. And feel in to what soul loss means to you in this 3D paradigm. For this is the start of your soul's story. And maybe with the mix of that fear and that pain and that frustration, And that feeling of being lost, which is what soul loss is, losing a part of yourself, a memory, and wanting to find out who you really are. And then you get plunged deep into a dark night of the soul. And this dark night is when you hit rock bottom in your life, when nothing makes sense anymore. And usually this is the start of a great spiritual awakening. The soul's call. Remember who you are. Come back. All is not lost, but it feels lost at this stage. Life is breaking down. Maybe relationships are falling out of your life. Maybe you've struggled with the 3D paradigm. You've tried to drink or party or try and fill your soul up somehow, but you've lost it and you don't know how to reclaim it. And so it plunges you into this dark night of the abyss. Nothing is working anymore. I cannot go on like this anymore. The mundane reality feels too restrictive for your soul. You've shoved yourself in a path that's not yours, and your soul is calling, come home. But this part often feels like the soul part of you has committed some kind of suicide, that it's gone, that it's disappeared, that you can't connect with it. But it's always there willing you to connect, reach into it and call back. And this is the call to adventure, the call from your soul, come back, I'm here. There is a divine path for you. And while this phase usually comes out of great sorrow and pain and anguish, there is a flickering of hope, of light, of awareness that there is more than this. This 3D matrix is an illusion. This is not your reality. The soul is willing you to break free and feeling into your sacral center, the energy of creation and new beginnings. So remember when you were down that dark hole of despair, and the seed and the light that appeared at the end of the tunnel, that you can create anew, that you can crawl out of this dark black hole and recreate a new beginning, for the soul is calling you home. And yet we've lived our whole life in this restricted matrix, this fallen paradigm. And so while we might have had a nudge or been catapulted into a soul search, maybe we've been picking up new spiritual skills or reaching into new communities, trying something anew. Or maybe we've had a new awareness that we didn't have before, that the world wasn't quite what we thought it was. But at this stage, we feel soul blind, and what that manifests as is the ego is dying out. The restricted, I am just this physical body, the world is exactly as it's painted to be. All the comfort of how we expected, how we relied on the world to be, isn't big enough for the soul, so the soul is trying to grow. But our grip, our control on the reality is dissolving. We are having a death of the old self. And so in this phase, there is a refusal of the call of the soul, because it doesn't fit into the world that we exist in. So we have to break free, and that might mean losing friendships, changing, speaking into something anew, giving up jobs, changing relationships. This means your soul is asking for something higher, and the old you is dying away. You are bigger than what you thought you could be. But there's part of you that liked the comfort, that maybe liked the control of the paradigm because it was easier somehow than to take that untrodden path that no one apart from your soul has walked before. And that path, that part of the journey feels unknown and scary. So part of you wants to switch off that calling of the soul and stay in this comfortable and uncomfortable world. And this often comes from a place of where your confidence is knocked. And this relates to the solar plexus, which is our divine willpower, our drive. But also, if we've been through soul loss and a dark night of the soul, our confidence tends to be smashed into little pieces. We don't know who we are. And we fear that we're not enough to take this epic soul's journey. And so we might step back and refuse the call of the soul. But really, this soul-led center is about divine will and an immense amount of courage. So building up your golden light, your warrior strength. See if you can step forward into the next stage of the journey and meet your mentor. And there is always somebody willing you on your hero's journey. There is always someone helping your soul to expand, and this is what I call the soul activation stage. Suddenly, you become aware that there is more than you on this journey, that other souls are being activated too. The awakening is happening all around you. And this beautiful phase is when you follow the call of the heart, that passion to live that dream life. That was what your soul was whispering to you. This life, that old one, that isn't enough for you. Follow me. I have a bigger dream. And at this point, you follow the heart forward. And in that heart-based consciousness, you can meet your divine soul, who is your wise mentor. You're connecting in some way. And maybe it manifests through a spiritual guide, a speaker, a guru, somebody who is mentoring you. Maybe it manifests externally in the world, but that is just a reflection of you and who you are in your soul's consciousness. And what does it feel like for you, for your soul to be activated, for your heart to be aligned with your soul's purpose? What is your soul whispering to you now about your true path and the next step forward on your journey? But what your soul didn't warn you or tell you to get you on this journey, to cross this threshold into this new world, was how hard it would feel and how many times you'd want to give up and go backwards. And maybe you've moved into a phase where you're speaking your soul's truth. Maybe you're trying, changing your world, mixing with new people, trying new things, searching the soul-based workers, leaders, activators, soul storytellers. Maybe you are weaving your own soul story. Maybe you've got access to your soul's gnosis by now, the knowledge that you have not lived once. You've lived again and again and again and again. And in that wisdom, you've realized it's been a bloody battle. You have been fighting a spiritual war, otherwise you wouldn't have come in without the knowledge. Maybe in this soul's journey of yours, you have witnessed how you've been killed for being your soul-centered self. Maybe you've witnessed trauma and seen your soul fragment off. Maybe you've witnessed spiritual persecution on a deep level. Ways that your soul has been taken, harvested, shaken. And this witnessing can bring many into soul crisis, a feeling of shutting down of the throat. This couldn't be true. The world isn't this way. And a fear of speaking that truth into existence. It's better that we bury it back, right? It's better that we ignore the soul and all the awareness that is coming up. Surely on this spiritual journey we should be dancing in love and light. No, my fellow travellers, this isn't the soul's journey. The soul's journey is one of awakening and realising who you truly are and where those parts of your soul self have gone. And deciding to retrieve every part of you and really understanding your soul story. But have compassion for the spiritual crisis of being brave enough to look at your true soul story. And perhaps, my fellow traveller, that was why you came here to earth at this time, to speak through your sacred throat, express your soul's truth. For once you step in beyond the crisis and start speaking your soul story, your truth, then you can find your soul's tribe. Of course, this is also the stage of tests, allies, enemies. So not only will you find your tribe, you'll find your shadow. Your inner blocks, you'll go a level deeper on the soul's knowledge and see all the ways you've been holding yourself back. All the way, the contracts that have spanned out, the relationships you've chosen to pull in that have tested you. And beyond that, you might reach into the karmic wheel and realize how so many things out there in this fallen paradigm society were not built to serve your soul. But on this journey of awakening, when your soul has been shaken and fully acknowledged, yes, I am a soul being, and yes, I acknowledge that soul story of what I've been through, to come here today, to be part of the Earth tribe, the 5D leaders, the soul-based storytellers. This is when your third eye, your divine intuition is wide awake, and in that intuition, in that third eye sits spiritual persecution. So you would have had to have done some work to clear this out, to understand. And looking through the divine eye of awareness, Let that divine eye show you the allies you have. Who is connecting with you in spirit? Do you have some divine angels working with you? And they may even be earth-based angels. Maybe they're in your family. Maybe you're working with someone who's sending you soul-based light and willing you on. Going, yes, this is the way, my soul friend. Follow the callings of the soul. And know that your biggest tests, your biggest antagonist, that person that tried to shackle you down or hold you back or hurt you in some way, that enemy was just the opposition of who you truly are, was pushing you to be all that you came here to be. You have stepped into the stage of your soul's purpose. Your soul's purpose is what you came here to do. And so it may look like writing your soul's story. It may look like speaking your soul's story. It may look like channeling your soul's story. It may look like living your soul's story. That hurdle that you've been overcoming is what you can share with the world. That repression that you've experienced, that dark night that you had, is how you can help heal yourself and the world. And that knowledge that you picked up from coming this far on your soul's journey is how you can step into the next stage, the brighter, magical world which understands souls, and help the collective, your soul tribe, to never lose their soul's consciousness again. And once again, you are stepping onto unknown territory. You are not used to living in a magical 5D world. Maybe you're doubting what's possible, but here, at this stage, your soul's wisdom is speaking to you. Will you allow yourself to be your own soul's guide, to take the learning and teachings from others and all around you, and step into your soul's truth, your soul's wisdom? This stage on the soul's hero's journey is called the approach. And with great trepidation, you're about to leap off the end of a cliff and trust that you have angelic wings to fly. And until you're committed, there's always this chance to draw back into the old world. But trust me, on the soul's journey, you have the wings to fly, but you have to trust your divine consciousness, the unknown, as we move into the crown. This divine unity consciousness to all that is, the synchronicity. Suddenly things don't make so much sense anymore, and you have to trust that all the universe is conspiring to help you. It's a whole new world here. And you're looking down at the ground below you and going, can I leap? Have I got that leap of soul faith in me? Will the wings appear? Will I fly? What if I fall? Oh, my darling, what if you fly? And here's what many people that have taken the hero's soul's journey path know. at this stage of trepidation, you will fall. And you'll pick yourself up and rub yourself down and give yourself compassionate love for trying. Because this is what we do when we grow. When we first try and walk, we fall down and we get up. We fall down and we get up. When we want something enough, we learn and we grow and we evolve. So suddenly understanding that you have wings, that you are higher, divine, soul-led being, doesn't mean that you won't fall, that sometimes your higher consciousness won't feel activated and you'll have to get up and try and fly above this fallen paradigm again and again and again. And this is what they call the ordeal. And oftentimes something much bigger happens to us. We've been trudging around this soul activation, and then suddenly we get a big wake-up call, a big shake-up. We're further down this spiral of the soul, and we thought we'd done the work, and we thought we'd understood ourselves, and suddenly our true soul's karma appears. And this is what's locked in our soul star chakra, our soul story. And this is so unique to us. But funnily enough, when you understand it and speak into it and even be brave enough to share it, you'll find that there's actually a soul tribe outside of yourself that is connected with your soul, that have the same story. And once you speak into it, heal it, touch into it, understand it, you'll get your spiritual Me Too tribe. Yes, I experienced that. Yes, I'm suffering from that in my soul. Yes, I'm healing that. Because where the soul wound is where the true work is. And this is both the work, the healing work that you need to do inside, but also your gift to the world. This will be your soul's story. And maybe it's a story that you want to write, speak, share with the world. And this is how you truly clear any karmic imprints that are in your soul. The fallen paradigm is willing you to forget your story, to silence your story. It's persecuted you for your soul story. But really inside, and maybe fragmented outside, is the soul, your consciousness, your story, your origin, root home to who you truly are, beyond this paradigm, right reaching up into the stars. And at this stage, when you've been courageous enough and brave enough to start writing, speaking, channeling your soul, your unique wisdom of what brought you here today on the earth, to teach, share, learn, evolve with your soul tribe and collective. You at this point will be retrieving all of those parts of your soul and calling them back home. As you're doing the healing work, the connecting work, and building the relationship with your soul, and becoming a full embodied soul self. And this is a great reward. And you may find that you are absolutely bigger than you expected. You're a star being. You're connected to that stellar gateway, which is the stars. You are bright, shiny, and you're letting your soul take center stage, because what you have to say, speak, write, channel is important for the world. And you do not want to go around this karmic wheel again and again and again, forgetting who you really are on a soul's level. So maybe, like me, you came in to remember your soul and what you actually came here in this lifetime to do. And gently calling in parts of that soul so that you can start the road back to who you truly are. At this point, you step into your soulful self. On this great hero's journey, you are finding your way back to who you truly are. It's linked in with the universal gateway, that you can be so much bigger. You can have one foot in this realm and another in a different dimension. You are a multi-dimensional soul. You don't need to be restricted by this world or restricted by what's happened to your soul. Actually, in all those soul lifetimes was gifts, lessons, learnings. In this lifetime, you've chosen to complete those, to learn from those, and to release yourselves from the shackles of the past by acknowledging it, activating it, teaching it, sharing it, so that no one else that's coming in after you, the next generation, the next wave of starseeds, light workers, spiritual folk, can follow in your footsteps. They know you've taken the hero's journey, and they acknowledge that they do not want to have a reset of the soul. They want to have an activation. And maybe you chose to do the hard work to end this karmic paradigm so that they didn't have to. Your soul's purpose was igniting the full story, and once people know the true soul story, there's great power, because history can't be rewritten by those who won the spiritual war. History, her story, our story, the soul story, is being rewritten and brought into the collective consciousness by you brave hero of the soul. And at this stage, it's time to celebrate. It's time to understand that you are a supernatural soul self, and let that supernatural soul speak its truth. And that truth comes through channeling. That comes from a divine consciousness, because you are connected to source, light. You have the ability through the soul embodied self to download higher frequencies into your body, to speak this language of source, light language, to move with the divine, to channel spiritual consciousness and higher wisdom than you ever thought possible, because at this stage you are connected with your higher self. Welcome back, divine soul. You have resurrected yourself to who you truly are. And it wasn't easy, was it? You got lost, you fell, you got harmed and wounded, but you came back. And feel into the frequency of your soul, which is linked to your higher heart and unconditional love. You've witnessed all that has been and all that you are. You felt in conflict and struggle and hurt, but looking through the eyes of the higher soul, the great monad, with unconditional love, can you feel so very proud of yourself? Can you give yourself all the unconditional love that you need? For that is you embodying your soul, resurrecting your spark, and stepping into your supernatural ability to speak from the soul. Welcome, soul friend, soul journeyer, you hero, you heroine, to the 5D earth that you've brought yourself to. You've returned with your soul intact, which is what the elixir, the magic truly is. Your soul, your magic, your light, your divine spark. And here, you're returning with all that you are, this higher frequency, this higher knowledge, this vessel for light and force of good and unconditional love in the world. And from this space, you are activating the earth again to a higher paradigm, because you are the light bearer, the light bringer, the freedom seeker. But not in a dropped consciousness. You've witnessed how the light beings have fallen throughout time. You've searched through your soul of all the harmers and witnessed them. And you're stepping back in to the road, to the consciousness, to the story of the healer who heals their own soul story and activates the tribe. This is the magic you hold. You've moved from the fallen consciousness into this 5D reality. And through this space and frequency and place, you step into your soul's true dharma, to activate, to dream, to awaken to this new earth that we are rising, conjuring and commanding together as an active process. We do not consent to the fallen paradigm. We are the soul-led storytellers who know and witness what we've been through, who work hard to heal all parts of ourselves, to transmute the shadow in society and bring it all back into the light. This is the true light bearer and soul embodied self. This is what your soul came here to do. And you may do it in so many different ways. You may be writing stories. You may be teaching your children. You may be speaking your truth. However you lead from the soul is how you step into your soul's dharma and return with your magic today.